Hi everyone, it's me, Joe. I have been taking down all my drag videos on this channel. If you followed me in the past, I did a look that was exactly the same as this, but I had red hair and I had a little bit of diamonds in the... I think I had diamonds in the lid, but it was this tutorial. I took down all my drag tutorials before because I do drag queen makeup a lot. I've done magazine cover with Francois Sagat as Madonna. I've worked with a number of the queens from Drag Race. I have an article out in Now magazine on BuzzFeed. All kind of drag makeup, from very soft transformative stuff to celebrity transformation to crazy drag. So I am really fortunate to do this a lot for other people. I've got a very strong style. I'm doing a basic kind of, I would say, disco dolly fish look today. So I'm going to be doing a secondary look, which is going to be more classical, dark contours, brow covering, and more fierce drag. But this, I think, is a friendly starter drag for anyone that's starting out and wants to learn how to do drag makeup. It's very simple. It's quite a long video because I've gone into detail, but I hope you enjoy it. Alright guys, thank you so much. Subscribe to me if you're brand new. Give me a thumbs up and some comments about what you liked or didn't like, and I will get back to you in the comments. Alright guys, thank you so much and enjoy. So let's start with the blank canvas. I have just thrown my hair back out my face and I want to start with a great moisturizer. It's so important with drag makeup to have a great moisturizer because you're wearing such heavy foundations that it's good to have a layer of protection between your skin and the makeup. And definitely take care of your skin. If you're constantly tugging at your face, taking makeup off and putting it back on the next gig, whatever you do, it's very important to get skincare right for you. Now I'm using Heal Gel Body. It's like a really rich moisturiser that I like to use underneath heavy makeup just because it keeps my skin hydrated and it acts kind of like a barrier cream. For this look, I'm actually going to be using my real eyebrows. If you are lucky enough to have eyebrows quite high on your face, then I like to incorporate them into the look. However, I am going to be doing a brow covering tutorial now I have real eyebrows, so check back tomorrow and I'll show you how to do that if you need to cover your brows to do this look. I love to start with the skin because I think with drag makeup it's so easy to use every single trick in the book to create a look when you don't always need to use every single trick. It's very easy to start with a really dramatic eye and then when it comes into the foundation you might feel like it's a little bit too heavy for the look, or vice versa. I like to lay it down in foundations and then build on top. So I'm going to start with foundations today. I don't love TV sticks. I don't tend to use them on clients, but I do have them because I know a lot of you have asked me to use them. Where's my mirror? Now I don't love TV sticks. I prefer to use foundations that are liquid because it reminds me of painting, but I know a lot of you guys love to use a TV stick foundation or a stick foundation. So today I'm going to go with this. Out of all the stick ones, I preferred Max Factor pan sticks that are now discontinued. They used to do a lot of stuff that was great, and I think it's great with drag makeup. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to go with a darker colour than I'm actually used to wearing because with drag makeup, to create the full illusion, it's easier to start off with a mid-tone and go highlight and contour. When you're as super pale as me, you have to then go into just the contours. It's very difficult to highlight on white skin. So you have to really think about that when you're doing your character. And for my character today, I'm going to be using kind of a mid-tone to start. So I'm actually going to apply this just all over the face. Now the base is laid in, I'm now going to be using MAC Full Coverage. This colour is W10. It's one of the palest, if not the palest, creams I use. And what I like to do with this is take it through the under eye area. And don't be afraid to go crazy with this because this is a drag look. Now my trick and the way I contour is I bring the highlight up against the nose, like so. And then cut back down along the nostril. So immediately it's shortened the width of the nose from the front. I then go straight down the centre to about there. and then I start building kind of like the crescent or the forehead kind of contour. The reason it's very useful to go through the bridge of the nose is because men's brow bones lean forwards, and that's one of the things that I know a lot of trans women get feminized when they get facial feminization, just a brow head, and this basically gives the illusion when the light's on it that that area is flat. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice. Then I'm going to go from, I would say, the middle of the ear down. So now I'm going to go back in with the same sponge I just used, because it's great to use the same sponge because it's got a little bit of the product you used before on it. So it will blend it more seamless. Okay, so now it's very, very light in the centre. That's the kind of idea with the base. I think the reason I go in with more of the highlights to begin with in this specific kind of style is because I think when you use the contours in creams or in the liquids that you use before you set, when you go in then after, the blend tends to grab to those areas, and if you don't have a natural cheekbone there and you're creating an illusion, it doesn't look seamless. So it's better to start off just with creams or the foundations you're using first and then going with the contour after it's set. That way it looks a little bit more seamless. So now it's time to set the beast. So I'm using Dermacolor Set Powder. Dermacolor Set Powder is definitely the best for drag makeup. If you haven't tried it, Google online. I've mentioned it many times. I'm using a sponge. I'm not using different colours in different areas. It's a complete waste of time, honestly. You're setting the foundations underneath it, and most of the pigment you use is actually going to be brushed away. So it's really inconsequential to the look you're going to achieve later. You add pigment once it's set because then the powders won't grab to the liquids. So just going with the colour that's closest to your skin, and make sure the bitch is set, because for the cover of Loverboy I made him into Madonna, and one of the shots we did was actually underwater, submerged in a bath, and they were like, we need all the makeup to run off the face, and I was like, bitch, my makeup does not run in water, are you crazy? So we had to create it with illusion after, but set the bitch into place. If you're going for the illusion of a feminine feature, then it's best to go in with matte colours. I like to use NARS foundation powders and NARS bronzers because they're lovely, silky and very grey. Starting off with the darker shade, I'm going in with Laguna, and this is what we're going to use to sculpt the forehead off. Now, as you can see, I am going straight in and I'm taking the angles of the forehead off. And we do that because women's hairline tend to be more to the rounder shape. Men's hairline starts receding and it becomes squarer. Now my hairline is actually round, but I burn a giant patch into my head. We're not going to go into it, it's a mess.com. Things we do, things we do. So I'm starting to blend in a circular shape, but we really want the density of the colours to be in the corners of the forehead. Now don't forget, most of this area is going to be hidden with your wig, depending on what wig you're going to style. So this is possibly more dramatic than you need it, but your wig will cover it. Then we're going from the back of the contour we've created, and we're drawing down. I quite like the softness of keeping that C shape here. You guys may want to do more of a harsh line where you create a line with the highlight here. It's very Raven from RuPaul's Drag Race, who I adore. But I've never met. I would love to meet her, she'd be awesome. So we're really bringing out the shape. And as you can see, now we're not gleaming white. Do I go along the jawbone? Now I've mentioned earlier, I think, if I haven't cut it out, that I don't actually like defining this area of the jaw. I would say 3/4 of the jaw should remain completely indefined, unless you have a very soft jaw to begin with, because it will either look like you have a beard that you've painted in, because the shadows tend to be quite neutrally coloured like beards, looks like shadow which you've just covered, or it brings out how square our jaws are, and when we go through puberty, one of the things that grows in guys is the length of the jaw. If you're going to contour the chin, I would stay kind of there, and I would use that shape and go down the neck. And that's pretty much the limit. And that will soften the shape, but it won't look like a beard. I'm going to be using White Intrigue blush by Illamasqua. It's just a very white powder. I actually prefer to use Studio Fix in Shivering White, which is a pro product. It's the same product as Studio Fix, but in white. But this colour is all I have at hand. And I'm just going to place that right under the eyes. Try not to get it in the very depths of the eye socket because it can bring out dark circles if you put white straight over there. But just in the cheekbone really does brighten that area. And I'm just using this in the centre of the forehead. And I'm going to start just adding a little bit to the nose. We can add some just to the touch of the back of the cheekbone, just under. And if we want it, just in the chin. Do we use blusher? We can. I tend to use blusher in between the contour and the highlight. So I'm using Sophie blusher by Illamasqua. And I'm just using it down the cheekbone in between the two. The reason I don't use it in a traditional blusher sense is because when we've kind of carved in the shape of the bones with the contour, if we're going to swirl red over it, it kind of kills the illusion and it brings the face kind of chubbier in the centre, which is cute, but it kind of works against the makeup. So for a different look, I'll do a strong blush. Grabbing a smaller brush and just that Eden colour by NARS, I'm going to go down the sides of the nose contour. Now I don't want it to look harsh, it's kind of like a more softer interpretation. I've got quite a dramatic one in mind for next time, so I'm going to use just this colour down the sides. Grabbing our Intrigue colour again, this is now the trick. So we're using the highlights to then shape the nose contour. So creating a line up the side. Now this is a trick that I use a dark shadow for, and I'm going to be using MAC Studio Fix in NW40. Now I use this to actually shape the nostrils, so I paint along the nostrils like so. It really adds to an upturned nose effect, but also it can make the tip of your nose look symmetrical if it's not, like mine's quite unsymmetrical, but you can shape it by overdrawing it and the nostril kind of contour comes like that. And then you can really do what you want with this. You can blend it through. Sometimes I add just a touch on the outside of the nostrils, like here, too. So let's go in with the brows. Now, as I said, I'm using my own brows as the base, but you can, of course, cover your brows and then this will be the next stage. I am looking forward to doing a brow sculpting tutorial tomorrow, actually. It's going to be quite exciting. So starting with Dermacolour Concealer in this chestnut colour, I'm going to be drawing on the brows, and I'm going to start on the outside. And brows are really important, I think. I'm taking this colour from my MAC palette. I'm not sure what the name is, but I will find it out and write in the description. And we're just going to use that to go over the outside. Taking a very light peach colour, but just a Dermacolour concealer again. I'm going to use that to sharpen and draw a line under the brows. So let's go in with the eyes. Now I'm going to be using the Dermacolour concealer I used on the outside of my eyebrows as a base. So easy to use concealers as a base. I'm going to start on the lower eyelid and I'm going to sketch just lower than my lash line. So I'm just blending out the edges, but keeping the socket line sharp. So I've just used a little bit of concealer just to cut the edges back in of the socket line, but here we go. So I'm going to be using a 217 brush, and I'm starting with one of my favourite colours, which is this gorgeous pinky matte. Again, if you want to create an illusion, go with mattes, and then we can add shimmer later. Now I'm just brushing this and kind of setting all of this concealer. Mixing a little bit of carbon in with that on a Illamasqua blending brush. I'm going to start lining really close in. So this is our depth of colour. Now we run and grab our Bioderma, and this is where it becomes so straightforward and simple. So all of you out there, I don't expect you to be expert makeup artists, but every one of you can do this look. Very simple. So we get our Q-tip, we get our Bioderma on it, and then we cut back into what we've shaded, and we create our crease. So I've just been applying platinum pigment to the lid, and I've been using a softer brush to keep the look still soft but gorgeous, sparkly and drag. Grabbing some eyeliner. This is just a pen eyeliner by MAC. This is a pen eyeliner I got on eBay. I'm going to create just enough to cover lashes and to pull the eye up. Using this cream eyeliner by Illamasqua, I'm going to go just all around my eyelashes. So I'm going to be using these lower lashes. They're just very cute lower lashes. I'm going to use the whole strip, and I'm going to use black latex glue because it really does give a line similar to that as if you've drawn on a very fine eyeliner. So just going to get some. So the trick with drag lashes is stacking. Oops, I've just dropped them down back. Now I'm going to be using these as a base, and these are just some cheap ones I got on eBay. Now, as you kind of understand from, I don't know what's a good example. So the trick is you build everything in layers, so it actually creates physically a lift, like actually a lift, because the line, instead of as a flat lash, it becomes like a gathered fierce lash. So you use kind of like a bulk and a combination of ones. I like to start off with something quite plasticky because it gives a lot of kind of like suspension for a good lash, and then you finish with a good lash. Then our big drag lash is going to be Ardell, and these are 115s by Ardell. So I've just glued the two lashes on, and now we're going to add the other two. So now our lashes are on, now let's do the lips. I'm going to be using Illamasqua in, which colour is this? Lust. And this is going to be my outline colour. Now I'm going to be using Illamasqua colouring pencil in Power. Now in the very centre I'm going to be using Lime Crime in Cosmo Pop. And I'm going to use this to blend the colours. Now I'm going to change my hair and add a little bit of extra detail, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just added my new disco-y wig. I've just thrown my hair into the front. I've got a tutorial about that wig too. So I really hope you liked it. I am actually going out after this, and I have to redo my entire face. So please forgive me for not getting changed into full garb, because it's from the neck up. Alright guys, well I really hope you liked that drag tutorial. It was fun to recreate something that I've done on this channel before. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you may have seen me do this with red hair, and it was called Mermaid Drag Tutorial, and it had like 100,000 views. And I've got to shout out Willem, because Willem was one of the first like very successful drag queens that have asked me to do her makeup. So thank you Willem for liking that video to begin with, because I've worked with so many amazing people now. But Willem was the first, I think she commented on that one. So this is a recreation of the one I've done before. Just very JH, very soft. If you took off the eyelashes, you could probably get away with doing this like a fishy look. I'm not sure, it's up to you. But I really hope you liked it. It's kind of disco dolly. Alright guys, well please stay tuned. I'm going to do a much more traditional drag sense tutorial with brows and dark contours this week. I'm doing one every day, so please stay tuned and I will see you soon.